You know what it's time for. Jeff Lawrence, guitar lessons again and again and again. Today, I know what you're thinking. They spelt this wrong. Am I sure they spelt it backwards? I know, but I'm not going to take it back. Why did they spell it backwards? That ain't none of your business. Okay, today this is going to be lead guitar 1. First class lead guitar. If you already play lead guitar, you are not going to learn anything from this lesson, probably. So you will when we get down to lesson number 5 or 6, probably. So first thing we're going to do is talk about techniques on the guitar. Techniques for lead guitar are going to be bends, when you bend the note. Slide, you slide the note. Hammer on, you hammer on the note. Pull off, you pull off the note. We'll talk about a few others. We're going to take the A minor pentatonic scale. Let me show you what that looks like. You should already know. Let me look in my book here. It won't take but a second. Here we are. Maybe. I should have had my crap together before we started this. Actually, we'll take the blues scale, which everyone should know. It's pattern 1 in my book on page 38 in my book, which you should buy from me. If you should send me $20 on PayPal, lwrn86@aol.com, or just email me from there, and I will send you the book. Include your address, or I will not be able to do that. So, pattern 1, blues scale. Notice I have it on the F sharp note, which is the second note on the guitar neck. We're not going to do it in F sharp. I only did that just because that's the best way to write it out. This is a movable scale. The triangle is your root note. We're going to move this to the 5th fret and make it A minor blues scale, which is what you mostly hear on all your rock and blues and country songs. The country kind of approaches it from a major scale. Get into that another time. So let's talk about bends first. First, let's go down to your 5th fret and do that blues scale. So that's your A minor blues scale. We're going to mainly be dealing with the 3 high strings on this scale. Come to your 7th fret on your 3rd string with your 3rd finger right there. Now put your middle finger and your 1st finger right in front of those, where they're on the 6th fret and 5th fret of the same exact string. All 3 fingers on the same string right in a row. We're going to bend a note. So you're just going to pick the 3rd string. You're going to mash really hard, and you're going to bend the note. We'll start by bending it a whole step. That's a whole step bend. What that did is create that sound. 5th fret to 7th fret on the 3rd string. And that's actually how you can test yourself whether you're getting a whole step bend or not. If you go too far, it'll be out of key for the song you're playing in. If you only go a half step up, it'll work because we're in the blues scale, and normally the blues scale, so we can bend this note to that one, which normally the blues players do and the rock players too. Don't try to not put these 2 fingers there. I show these to people a lot, and they always try to do some crazy thing with their 1st finger or some kind of stupid thing. Use all 3 of your fingers right in a row. It's the best way to do it. If you don't believe me, watch David Gilmour, Jimi Hendrix, anybody you want to watch. They're going to be doing it that way, and you'll see that. And normally on the guitar they teach you, which is correct, to keep your thumb on the back of the neck where you can't really see it. That doesn't work so well when you're bending blues notes. So you can come on up. I tell people to grip it like a baseball bat or tennis racket or beer bottle, whatever your pastime is, and it gives you a little better of a grip. And then, so that's your bend. You can practice by going. Just try up and down, get that bend going. Now, another technique is vibrato. I didn't mention that earlier, but we're going to do it on most notes. You will put a vibrato on, just like a vocalist does, or a violinist, or anybody else. Vibrato usually will be when you have a note that's going to sustain a bit. if you don't have enough time to vibrato it, and of course you can't do it. So if I was going to bend this note and just hang on to it for a while like this, I'm putting my vibrato in there, which is mainly done in your wrist. See my wrist going up and down? It's not as much the finger as it is the wrist. Make sure you stay on the tip of your fingers when you're doing any of these things. Tip should have lines in your fingers right at the tip. That doesn't hurt. After you've been doing it a long time, you'll just see the lines. So bend with a vibrato. Everyone's vibrato is different because everybody's wrist is different, everybody's hand is different. Some people over vibrato, they'll vibrato a little too much, but some people make that work for them. Some people don't vibrato enough, so it adds a little color, a little feeling, a little vocal quality to your playing. Now come down to your second string, same scale. We're going to take the pinky note on the 8th fret of the second string with your pinky. Now you got to line all 4 of your fingers up in front of each other. Now on this one you can't get a half step because you're out of key. See that note beside it, the half step up, is not in the key of you wanted to play in. So you need to go a whole step, which is this note. Get it to sound like that. See? Also vibrato, also get you good grip with your thumb, or it's really hard to do. Again, don't try to do anything weird and play it with one finger. Or you could technically do that. There's a lot of reasons why you wouldn't do that. Normally when you're doing guitar licks, they're kind of lined up to go back to your first finger area. Anyway, if you're over here with your first finger and you have to do this lick, you're going to have to go. It's way harder and just not the proper way to do it. You'll see why once you get going. The first string is going to work the same way. All 4 fingers lined up from the pinky on your 8th fret is the note you're bending. Again, got to bend a whole step up because the half step's out of key, so you don't want to do that. So there you have your bend. Now let's talk about bend and release. Release is when you come back down to the note you started bending on in the first place. So I bent the note, I released it. A lot of people ask me, why are you even doing that if you can just go? Think about this. Think about how boring that sounds. What about this? A lot more vocal, a lot more feeling involved in that. So that's why. So we talked about bends, talked about release. Let's talk a little bit about a trill. We'll take the same 2 notes. We'll take the 5th fret note and the 7th fret note on the 3rd string, same ones we've been bending on. This time we don't want that middle finger in there. We're going to do a trill. A trill is when you hammer on and pull off a note over and over. So first we'll do is talk about the hammer on, then the pull off, and then we'll get the trill going. That'll be the better order. So take your first finger, 5th fret, 3rd string. Hit that note. Hammer on your 3rd finger to the 7th fret, same string, 3rd string. We're only picking this one time. See that? So you get 2 notes with 1 pick. You could pick it twice, but that's not what we're doing. We're hammer on. Okay, now a pull off is kind of opposite of that. I look at it as opposite. You take your 3rd finger, have your 1st finger already on the note you're going to pull off to. Your 3rd finger. You're going to pick it one time and then kind of roll it down. I used to think it should be called a roll off instead of a pull off because you kind of roll it. So if you do a hammer on and a pull off, so I only picked it one time and I got 3 notes. It's like a triplet. Triplet, triplet. A trill is when you just do that over and over by just picking it one time. Still doing the trill, still not picking. Takes a little bit of getting your thumb up here. You don't have to. You could have your thumb in the back. I usually try to get a better grip like that. Still want to be on the tip of your finger. So there you go. You got hammer on, pull off, trill, bend, release. Got 5 techniques there. There's not a ton of techniques. There is a few more. The slide. Let's say we wanted to, same 2 notes, 5th fret, 7th fret, 3rd string, A blues scale, A minor blues scale. say we wanted to just slide a note. So you take your first finger, 5th fret, 3rd string, hit the note, get a good note, and then slide it. So you get 2 notes again with 1 pick. You could slide both there and back, like that, still picking it one time. You can slide fast. That's more of a 1 note when you just slide into the note real quick. Whoop. Put a little vibrato. You do it slower, you'll get 2 notes. So then you got your slide. So let's do a little bit of, I'll do a little bit of playing and show you some of these, how all this works. I'm just going to improvise in the scale. So everything I did there had either a bend, had the trill somewhere in there, had a lot of pull-offs and hammer-ons. I didn't do much of a slide in that. All these techniques can be done to vocalize, what I like to call vocalize your solo of playing. You could play all these notes just by straight up scale play. You're not going to get as much feel out of that. You're definitely not going to get a good blues sound out of that. If you're playing jazz or another type of music, that may be the better choice. Usually you're not going to bend a lot of notes in classical music, but you normally won't play this scale either. It is a blues scale, which is just a pentatonic scale with 1 extra note. So remember today, vibrato, slide, pull off, hammer on, bend, release. I think that's it. And there is other techniques with 2 hands, and we'll get into that in another lesson. This is just to get you started on lead guitar, learning these techniques. Just take the notes, practice doing little easy little things over and over. All that stuff, just practice that over and over in the 1 scale. If you want to come down to the 12th fret and do it a little bit, depending on what kind of guitar you got. If you're playing on a lead guitar, or not a lead guitar, an electric guitar like this, it has easy access to the 12th fret, then you're going to do that a lot there too. You can do the same thing. So you can do it. You're going to do it a lot in rock and roll and blues on the 5th fret, because you play a lot in A in blues and rock, and E, which is the 12th fret. And these are both minor versions of the scale. We'll go into major version when we talk about country. There is a different set of licks for the major stuff, for the country stuff. A lot of different things going on there, but same basic scale shape. That doesn't mean you're in rock and blues, you're only going to play an A and E. I would just say that E is probably your most likely key, and then A would probably be there, and then there's only a couple of keys you would play, and you're rarely going to play a C sharp major blues or anything like that. So practicing on the 5th fret and 12th fret is going to do you the most good. So this has been Lead Guitar Lesson 1, and we will see you next time.